Today in Luther's Kitchen, I'm going to show you how to make this super easy baguette. I'm using a large 4-quart container to combine some flour that is been spooned and leveled with water that is just out of the tap, not super warm, not cold, about room temp. And I'm just going to gently mix that together. All I want at this point is for the water to start absorbing into the flour. I let that dough hang out just for a few minutes before sprinkling in some active dry yeast. And then I'm going to give that a stir and let it hang out a bit before I add the salt. I give it about 15 minutes before I add the salt. Then I'm going to mix it one more time, ensuring the salt has been fully incorporated into the dough, scraping down the sides, and then putting a lid on, venting it a little bit, and letting it hang out on the counter overnight. This can be anywhere from 16 to 20 hours. 18 hours later, this thing is ripe and bubbly, and it's ready to start forming it into a baguette. So first I'm going to use a bench scraper because this dough is super sticky, so I really don't want to get my hands involved yet because it's just going to get everywhere on my hands and not come off. I'm trying to use the bench scraper to remove the dough from the container, and I have a generously floured clean counter to put the dough on. And what I'm going to try to do is to make a series of folds without fully deflating all that beautiful rise that the dough incurred, all the bubbles. So I'm using the bench scraper with some flour to fold it. I'm going to try to go 4 times, twice on each side. So I'm going to pull it gently, bring it into the center, again pull it, bring it into the center. I'm going to do that 4 times, and then I am lengthening it into as long as a baguette as I can get, about the size of a sheet pan when I put it on a sheet pan diagonally. Once you've got it in the shape of the baguette, you want to put it on a generously floured baking sheet pan on top of parchment paper. Sprinkle the top with some flour so it doesn't stick to either a clean towel or some plastic wrap. Let that hang out in a warm spot for another hour or so until it doubles in size. Meanwhile, you're going to preheat an oven to 500 degrees. I'm using an aluminum pan on the bottom rack, and I'm pouring in some super hot water just so it creates steam. My loaf has risen, so I'm getting a super sharp knife in there to score the bread, and then I'm going to put the bread into the super hot oven, which of course I didn't show, but this is about 5 minutes into the baking. You can see the bread has risen a little bit, and I'm just spritzing it with water. About 15 minutes into the baking, I'm going to take out the hot water pan, remove it, and then I'm going to put the bread directly on the rack of the oven. It's going to bake another 15-ish minutes until it's super golden brown, and then I let it cool off in the oven with the door a little ajar with the oven off. This allows the bread to cool down slower. It also helps to maintain a crunchy crust. When it's fully cool, I remove it and slice it, and I have the most amazing baguette. For this recipe and more, visit myclasscancook.com.